It's taken me about 8 years to fully recognize my value as a teacher, and I made lots of mistakes along the way, tons of mistakes, and I'm confident I'll make tons of mistakes more. I want to support you to truly recognize your value, not just conceptually like, yeah, I think I'm okay. I think what I've got to share is quite good. No, to be like, I inspire hundreds of people, but even before I get out of bed in the morning for breakfast. I want you to truly experientially recognize your value so you feel it as an experience. And I want you to be able to do it much quicker than I did, because 8 years is cool, but it's not necessary. And I've been through that. So I can be like, hey, here's the signpost, this way, this way, this way. So for the last section of this slideshow, I would like to know if I can share with you some of the mistakes I made and I see yoga teachers make all the time. And I want to share this with you so it opens up our space and we're aware of them so that we can navigate them when they crop up. So can I share them with you? Give me a wave if that's okay. Give me actually, no, I'm good. No, I'd rather you didn't. Perfect. Okay, so the mistakes, and this would really be where the notepad will be helpful. Yes, please. Thank you, Ola, for that. What's the word for that? Encouragement. Oh, skipping. Okay, so what I often hear from people at this stage, especially when they hear portions of my story like that one, you know, being kind of rescued by a helicopter, it wasn't a helicopter, but being refused entry into the country, being dumped after 6 weeks. It's kind of extreme. What I hear often is, oh, but nothing that dramatic has happened in my life, so I don't think I can make that much of an impact. Yeah, or like, I don't think kind of my life story, maybe it's more like, oh, my life story is a little bit boring, or like, I don't know if it's that interesting for other people to listen to be totally honest. And here's the mistake that you're making. Are you ready? Here's the mistake you're making. Just because it happens in your mind doesn't make it right. Let me say that again so everybody in the back can hear me. Just because it happens in your mind does not make it right. Just gonna a little bit of a dramatic pause to let that one land, because this is something I see time and time again, and I did it repeatedly. So I want to paint you a little bit of an example. Let's imagine I have a small friend. I don't know why he's small, but he's small, and he's called Ralph. Okay. Ralph's a pretty nice guy for all intents and purposes. He likes to hang around, and sometimes Ralph likes to tell me how I am and the things I'm not good at and that things won't work out. So I'm trying something new. Let's say, I don't know, I'm opening a new course, or I'm starting to teach my first class, or I'm applying to a yoga studio to teach class. And that's when Ralph will pipe up and say, no, it's never going to work. You're not going to be able to do that. No way. And what you're going to share is anyway. Nobody wants to listen to it. It's boring. This is Ralph in my ear. You wouldn't go, oh, Ralph, I think you're right. Oh, I should cancel everything. I'm not going to do it. Ralph's right. I'm not going to do it. No, it's bullshit. Yeah. No, you'd be like, Ralph, get the fuck out of my space. There's the swearing. So my question to you is, and to all of us, because it's no one's alone here, I still do it sometimes. Why, just because it happens in here, do we gulp it down without question? It's the same thing. Your mind is an instrument, and it soaks in. It's a sponge. It soaks in its environment. We'll get onto that in another session, because your environment is everything. But it analyzes information. Your brain is a computer that analyzes information, past experiences, and it's not always accurate. It's more accurate the more you refine it, but it is not always accurate. But yet we just nod along and listen, and we get ourselves tied up in knots and in thought spirals. So this is a massive mistake, and I want you to burn this into your consciousness. I'm going to keep bringing your awareness back to this, because on this journey, I am going to challenge you. I am going to stretch you, and I am going to kick you out of your comfort zone if it comes to it. And that's when this will fire up. Your mind will fire up when you're leaving the comfort zone, particularly because it wants to stay nice and warm and cozy in the comfort zone. And that's okay, because we're aware of it. We know it's going to happen. But I want us all to hold each other accountable, because this is going to come up a lot over the next 3 months, because it's a growth process. And your mind will try to say, oh, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's never going to work. So this is mistake number 1. As I say, we're going to come back to this. And this is going to be a key aspect of this program, to teach you how to fully discipline your mind, because it's totally necessary, to be a thriving human being, but it's essential when you step into the role of holding space for others. Because if your mind is all over the place, how can you hold that space for others? And I want to really ground this in with a Yoga Sutra. We're all yoga teachers after all. So Yoga Sutra 1.2, Yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. Ralph represents your fluctuations. He is the thoughts, the vrittis. And the state of yoga, the being of yoga, the living of yoga is when we are able to still the mind consciously and intentionally. That's not to say that we don't use our mind faculty. Often the question I get is, oh, but if my mind's still, does that mean at a bus stop I'll just ignore an old lady if she needs help with her shopping? No, the answer is no. Please help the old lady, whatever you do. But we can still the mind at will, so it isn't running havoc in our lives. Because if that's running havoc and our mind is in a gazillion different places, how can we possibly have the center to be able to hold space for other people and to be able to support other people? Not possible.